All right, boys and girls, let's make some progress tonight with the STI, and I mean some good progress too. So I've been doing a ton of research. I reached out to Haltech. We have made some changes. We're going to be making some more changes. But to start things off, I went ahead, I altered our tune. I adjusted base fueling a little bit. I enabled some features in the Haltech that we didn't have enabled last time, such as engine protection, launch control. I don't know why I enabled launch control, but I enabled it. I want to be a hot boy right now, and if everything in the tune's looking good, then I might just play with it a little bit. I am fairly confident that I have figured out why we are having vehicle or engine position issues with the STI. I didn't even think of this, so huge shout out to International Hobo on the last video because he gave me the idea for this. I didn't think about this when I built this engine harness or when I thought of coil pack. I have the engine harness ran directly under the intake manifold. My 6 coil packs, which are remotely mounted because they're Haltech Ignition 1A coil packs, are remote mounted under the manifold and they sit directly on top of the engine harness. Those coil packs, they emit a lot of EMI and RF, that's electromagnetic interference and radio frequency interference. So both of those could be affecting the crank. And the solution to this problem, which I believe will work, is shielding the entire engine harness that runs underneath of the manifold. Now I know some of you guys are thinking, why don't you just run shielded crank and cam position sensor wires? I do. They are 2-wire shielded core wires that are properly grounded, both to the battery. I'm not gonna worry about that right this second. I'm gonna try adjusting the filter level in our tune, and the filter level should pick up and ring out a lot of the noise. So I want to get this tune loaded on. My laptop's charging. While my laptop charges, I do need to go ahead and bring the ride height of the car up a little bit. We were rubbing continuously last time. So let me get ride height adjusted. Let's get this tune loaded on. Let's get things warmed up. Let's go out and try to get some driving data and see how the car responds to this new map. This ain't gonna stop me. I know they make jacks for 4-post, but they're like $1,000. I've got height adjusted. I raised everything up about 1/4 inch. I am going to toss my tune onto my laptop and then load that onto the ECU. Start the car and see how it does. Hello Subaru, we're gonna get you going. Don't you stress, don't worry about a thing. Cause a little thing. Import upload map. It's on my desktop. So I do have some of the auto learning parameters on, but not many of them. So kind of curious to see how this does. Oh, I got full power steering. I got a check engine light though. Okay, so, oh my god, dude, I have full power steering. I have full fucking power steering. I got 2 check engine lights. What do we have? Oil pressure sensor operating, engine position. Dude, okay, fuck yeah. Full power steering. I just had it. I had full power steering, so that's fucking sick. I don't know why it immediately just threw engine position. I'm gonna try. Why did you immediately throw engine position? Let's figure this out. Let's do this as the thing. Look at it. My boost gauge up there was working too. Holy fuck. Did you guys see that? MFD was working. Boost gauge and everything was working. I'm just getting this engine positioning sensor code right now, so let me double check. I'm gonna double check settings real quick. But dude, I just had full power steering. I just had the MFD working. I just had so much shit working. Okay, so I changed my synchronization settings to until full sync versus continuous. I have my filter level set at 3 right now. Home signal at 2. Let's see. Watch this MFD up here, dude. It's wild. That's the one. Okay, something's clearly up. Let me check the engine bay, because it's just that engine position error. But dude, power steering worked as well as the MFD. I've never had that MFD working, and I just got it working. That's fucking sick. I'm gonna make a change in the software and then look at the oscilloscope on this. So I'm gonna go to vehicle CAN. I'm gonna go to receive only mode and hit enable. And then I wanna go up to, we'll just do that. I just wanna enable that and see if that changes anything for the home position. I'm not sure if it will, but I wanna find out. So I'm gonna erase DTCs, reset ECU. That's gonna apply that change. I think I'm gonna try bringing this filter. Actually, I wanna leave the filter level alone, do one change at a time and see how it affects the car. So let's try this. Okay, so that's good. Now I know that the vehicle CAN system does not affect engine position, so that's good to know. Now I want to go up to trigger system. I want to try bringing this filter level down to like level 1 and see how that affects things. Let me try disconnecting power steering real quick. All right, I've got electric power steering disconnected. If it runs fine, it's verified the electric power steering is creating EMI. If that's the case, I'm gonna get some shielding. We'll shield that entire wire, and I'll probably run it up to my positive post up there with just an inline 80 amp fuse versus running the fuse off of the battery, which is totally fine. So we'll see if she runs right this time. Whore! It's not power steering. I hate this car sometimes. I get like 5 things working and then one critical thing not working. I put a known good map on here that I have verified doesn't always throw engine position, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a test. If it throws engine position, then it's not map related. Nope. Throwing engine position, so it's not map related. I think it's hardness related. I removed the 10K resistor off the crank sensor, mainly because Haltech has a built-in pull-up resistor for that, so that 10K resistor was already, the 10K resistor had resistance on it from the Haltech, so I don't think that's going to help us. That might actually be hurting us, so let's give her a test, and if she's still throwing engine position, why? Why are we doing this? Trigger voltage and home voltage, home input state, trigger input state. I would like to log this. So let me log this real quick and take a peek at what I can see here. All right, I got enough data. Stop logging. All right, this is gonna be a little bit hard to see, you guys, but this is what we're focusing on right here, this giant yellow graph of crap. See how this blue one down here looks fairly consistent all the way through? It doesn't look like there's any abnormalities. Same thing down here. You can see this line, which is the home, is if you look at the waveform of this trigger input, you can see that there's inconsistencies all throughout it, and there shouldn't be any inconsistencies. So I'm thinking that that's due to potential EMI, which is that electromagnetic interference from the coil packs up there. But like that should all be very, very consistent. My polarity could be backwards also, but I won't know unless it lets me zoom in. So, because we have falling edge, so it should come up and then fall, come up, fall, come up, fall. So let me see if I can't get this oscilloscope to let me zoom in on it, but I'm pumped that we at least we have the stock wheel speed sensors working now, which is good, because now we have traction control in the car, it enables a ton of features with traction control. We have the stock MFD working, which I don't really care about. We have full electric power steering. Like, it works. Like you guys saw, I was able to turn the wheel one hand, no problem. So let me take a look at this oscilloscope, see what the fuck is going on with it. Well, some of you probably ain't gonna like this, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's my car and I'm gonna do things the right way. I'm gonna just build a new engine harness. I don't wanna try to band-aid this car. Band-aid fixes, A, they don't last forever. B, sometimes they just mask the problem and it doesn't fully fix the problem. I can't modify this harness because it's epoxied shut, it's DR25. Everything on the inside is just going to be covered in epoxy and whatnot. Even if I just went to the extent of moving the coil packs, I would still have to modify the harness because the harness wouldn't be able to reach where the coil packs would be moved to. If I modified the crank sensor wiring, there's the possibility that it's still not going to be fixed. I'm just going to be delaying things, so I think I'm just going to go back to the house, order wiring shit. I have a lot of it left over from before, so I think I'm just going to go order some wiring stuff and remake it, and just remake the engine harness from the bay forward. Thankfully, I did put everything on Canon plugs, so I don't have to remake the entire harness from the ECU forward. I just have to remake the harness from the bulkhead connection to the engine bay. I'm gonna sleep on it before I 100% decide on this, but I genuinely think that's gonna be the best option. I still have more shit I'm gonna be doing to this car, so as we're building a new engine harness, I'm gonna start wrapping the car. I've got like those fun little bumper quick releases that I don't even think I've showed you guys. I got these off like JD Customs or something like that. Just these little like quick release guys for the bumper. Could I band-aid it? Yes. Is it permanently gonna fix the problem? Probably not. We're gonna try something with the STI before I go down the rabbit hole of completely building a new engine harness for that car, and that is aluminum foil, baby. So we are going to pop off the intake manifold, and we are going to try to shield the main engine harness. Now we're also gonna be relocating the ground wire, or it's not even the ground wire, the signal shield wire ground that is normally going to the Haltech. You see, on Haltech's 26-pin connector, they have on pin 15 a shield pin, which is just a 20 gauge and it goes into a signal ground spot. It shouldn't be going to that, it should be going to the battery, so we're gonna move that shield wire off of the ECM and move it to the negative terminal that I have up here in the engine bay. We're going to loom the main part of the engine harness underneath of the manifold with some aluminum foil, wrap some 20 gauge wire around it, put some DR25 over that, and also ground that out to the negative terminal, and that should hopefully clean up a lot of the electrical noise. When I came over to the shop earlier today, I got the STI started to pull it out and off the 4-post lift, and it started up just fine with no engine position error issues. So let me get this manifold off, let's get this intercooler piping out of the way, and let's start wrapping our engine harness in aluminum foil. On the main harness here for the crank sensor, this is all wrapped in aluminum foil. It's got a piece of 20 gauge wire that's been stripped, running the entire length of that. This I had to Tessa tape because I couldn't get, I don't want to get this connector off because every time I go to deep-in this, I break this connector, so I don't have an extra, so I'm just gonna kind of leave it as is. So this runs back, 20 gauge wire comes out, wraps around, grounds out to our negative terminal there. Negative terminal, that just goes directly to the battery. So now that all that is there, I'm gonna go ahead and put this intake manifold back on, get everything bolted together. I have the belt off for the alternator and everything else because I'm gonna hook up the timing light now to I have a much clearer path to be able to see the lines on the crank pulley to where 0 degrees is on that. So I wanna make sure it's just 100% dialed in and I'm not trying to look around intercooler piping or a belt or anything like that. So if this works, I will probably make a new engine harness. I'll probably make a new engine harness anyways, but probably make a new engine harness. So we're gonna go ahead and try this again. I got my timing light busted out. I understand. I don't understand. I've shielded it, I've wrapped it. I don't understand. Engine position immediately. TDC offset, dead nuts on. It is like spot fucking dead nuts on. It wasn't throwing check engine lights earlier, and now it is. Well, that didn't sound good at all. What is this? My belt just, yeah, the belt was slipping. Why is the belt slipping now? I hate this. I hate everything about this now. Nope, I have continuity. Damn. CKP. I was really hoping that the continuity test would fail, so that I could be like, there's my problem. The continuity fucking passed. I have verified mechanical timing and TDC offset. I verified everything's wired properly. I've re-shielded wires. I've made sure the Haltech is set up properly. I don't know. I have no fucking idea anymore. I don't know anymore, you guys. I have no idea. The last thing I can think of is the ECU. I have another Haltech Elite 2500 at the house. I've got it in the RX-7. I guess I'll bring that over here, load my STI map onto the RX-7's Elite 2500, plug it into my engine harness, start the car, and see what happens. On the off chance that somehow, I don't know how the ECU would have a problem, but in the off chance that somehow the ECU has a problem. I've checked continuity from the harness to the engine bay to the sensors. I've checked the sensors. I've swapped the sensors with literal brand new ones. I bought fucking 4 of them. So I've swapped all the sensors multiple times. I have resheathed. That harness is double sheathed at this point for the crank and the cam sensors. I genuinely don't know at this point. And I'm at the point now where I'm fine with just letting this car sit longer, because I don't know. I have Nemesis Performance up in Canada is machining a 36-1 crank trigger. I just don't get it. I don't understand why this problem would randomly appear. I've tried multiple tunes, multiple maps. This was a problem last time, but it wasn't nearly as bad as it is now. So I don't know. I'll bring the RX-7's Haltech over here. We'll try the RX-7's Haltech on the off chance that somehow that works and we got a bad ECU. Then I'm glad we solved it. But then I gotta get that ECU fixed to put in the RX-7, so. Oh, fuck, dude, this sucks. I'm gonna swap out this Haltech for my other Haltech and see what happens. Pull these guys out. There should be one more wire floating around in here that I just undid, which is right here. It'll be a completely different Elite 2500. See what happens. Right now it's got a tune for an RX-7 on there, so. What the fuck? After this test, same tune, different Haltech. We'll see if anything works and it doesn't freak out. Because it just worked just fine. I think we have a problem. I'm gonna do a quick check in the engine bay, clean up any loose ends, hook up my intercooler piping back together, get this thing started and try again. fucking came back again. Fuck, dude. So here's where I'm at with things, you guys. I'm gonna ditch the Haltech, and the STI is unfortunately going to sit for a while because ECUs and everything are very expensive. So I'm gonna sell off my Elite 2500, my IC7 dash, my wideband controller, and the custom EG33 engine harness. Someone else will probably get some better use out of it than I will. I need something that'll allow me to dial the car in a little bit more. So I was talking to Josh, I was talking to a couple other people. There's one other gentleman by the name of Kevin who also runs an EG33. His is in an 0405 STI, it's a blob eye, and he runs Motec, and he has literally no issues with it. So what we're gonna do, pull out all Haltech shit, build a brand new engine harness, and swap everything over to a Motec M150. Like I said, this is gonna take me a couple months to save up for everything to be able to get the Motec, all the supporting things that I need, but Motec actually has CAN compatibility support for my chassis to be able to run a lot of the OEM features that I want, that I've had to jerry rig with the Haltech to make work. So it sucks, but I've had issues with this fucking Haltech since we initially put it in the car, and it's always been engine position. It's never been anything else, always engine position. That's why Josh and I gave up on pump gas when we were on the dyno last time, because engine position kept happening on pump gas for some reason. We made the switch to E85 and it stopped happening. And it's just, I'm not gonna keep trying to band-aid shit. I'm gonna make shit work right. Motec seems like the answer. I've tested and tried every single thing I can think of with this Haltech. I've reshielded harnesses, checked continuity, swapped ECUs, changed tunes, used good known working tunes, changed filter levels, ran a separate wire from the ECU to the crank position sensor outside of the car where there's no interference. I've done literally everything that I can think of, and it keeps coming back, and I'm tired of it, and I don't want to keep dealing with it. So we're just going to do it, and we're just going to swap ECUs to an entire different platform. So I know Motec has more features. I know Motec is a little bit more expensive. I was looking at a Motec M150. I have to do some more research, but the nice thing with the Motec is they have a lot more inputs and outputs, which is one issue that I've just been running into with the Haltech for so long, because I have to sacrifice things with inputs and outputs and AVIs and whatnot. You can only have so many inputs for sensors that read back to the ECU. The Motec has 17 of them. I can run so many more sensors for engine protection things, more information to the ECM. So at this point, it's just, I'm throwing in the towel with Haltech, man. I can't get it to work. The US-based customer support that I've been talking to has not been all that helpful with things. I've just been kind of on my own trying to figure it all out. So at this point, I think the best move is to ditch the Haltech and just move to something else. I'm still gonna run a Haltech in the RX-7 because I'll probably, to be honest, I'll probably just use the IC7 display that I have in the STI and put it in the RX-7 and just use that digital dash in there. But I don't know. I'm tired of dealing with this. Like I said, I'm gonna continue doing other things to the STI that I need to get done on it, like exterior stuff, interior cleanup and whatnot. But we're gonna build new engine harness, swap to a better ECU, swap to just better everything. Trailer the car over to Josh once it's all good to go. He has more experience tuning Motec anyways, and then probably just do the tune over there. I've got I probably have like 15 miles on that engine, but it's whatever at this point. So that's all I got for you guys on this one. I wish it was a better video, and I wish things worked as they should, but like I said, this has been a long-term issue, and I'm just tired of dealing with it. So if you like the video, if you have any other ideas before I pull out all the Haltech stuff, feel free to drop them below and I'll give them a try. But if you like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button, turn it whatever color it turns for you. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, one of these corners, no idea which one quite yet. And with that, I will catch you guys in the next one, which is probably going to either be 23 WRX stuff or RX-7 stuff, or wrapping the STI. It's going to be one of those. So peace out, homies. Woo!